Welcome to Wanaka. We're lined up on runway 29, about to depart towards Wanaka Township. Okay, so what we're doing for the takeoff, I'll do the takeoff. You can follow me through on the controls if you'd like to. And what we're going to do, we're going to go through to full power. The aircraft will start speeding up. We're keeping straight using the foot pedals there.
Okay.
When we get to 60 knots, all we're doing is I'm just going to pull back slightly on the controls. The aircraft will fly off the ground.
Gotcha.
That's it. Wanaka traffic, Echo Foxtrot Papa, rolling CO29, vacating Wanaka Township. Okay, so we'll go through to full power. And we're just using those foot pedals to keep us nice and straight down that centre line. And so we're waiting for it to hit about 60 knots there, so we're just delaying that pullback until we've got enough airspeed. So about there, and we just gently pull back on the controls and it'll take off the ground. That's it. So it doesn't take much, does it? It sort of flies away on its own.
Wow.
And what we do, we're just going to fly straight ahead and fly towards the mountains there. Once we're at about 500 feet above ground, which in Wanaka is 1,700 feet, then we'll turn out away from the airport. Alright, so because we're in the climb at the moment, the nose of the aircraft is quite high and it kind of blocks our view a little bit. We can't see much here. But what we do want to be able to see is just the tip of the mountain out in front of the nose cowl there. So there's actually screws which run along the front of the nose there. And usually I tell people just put them about a finger width below the top of the mountain. So sort of what you're seeing there.
Gotcha.
If the nose gets too high, so if I purposely pull it too high there, that's too high for us, so we'll start losing airspeed there. So we want the nose a little bit lower. So we just push forward until we can see the tip of the mountain again. And you know, same thing if the nose is too low, so you know, that's too low there. It's not going to climb. So we just gently pull back on the controls. So we've got a bit of gust there. Gently pull back on the controls and raise the nose back to just below the tip of the mountain. And we're actually drifting off to the left, so we'll use that as a good indicator that we will go to the left. So to turn, what you do, it's you know, logical, just like in your flight sim. You want to go to the left, you roll the controls to the left. It'll bank the aircraft, and then you bring the controls back to neutral. That was a big gust we just got. Hopefully we'll have some stiller air over the lake and you can have a go at turning.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically what you do, you turn the controls in the direction you want to turn. Then when you're happy with the angle, about 30 degrees normally, somewhere between 20 and 30 is a nice medium turn. And then you centralise the controls. If you keep them held in, it'll actually get steeper. Yeah, so you bring them to neutral and then it'll just continue that turn nicely. Going out of the turn, you go in the opposite direction and just level the wings. So when that dash there is level, the plane will fly straight ahead. Cool. So you want to have it take over there. It is a little bit gusty. How do you feel about the you know, the turbulence? Does it worry you?
Maybe a later.
Yep. Okay. No problem. So what I'll do, I'll have my hand on the controls. You can follow me through, and we'll just head out towards the lake, and hopefully we'll find some smoother air, and you won't.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. good, yeah, and then head straight towards the lake there. How's that feel? You're not too worried about the bumps? Not bad?
No, good.
Cool.
A hiking trail?
I don't know if it's a road or a hiking track. Probably a road. It looks a little bit thick to be a hiking track, doesn't it?
Oh,
But lots of people hike around here. It's really popular. Would you ever do any flying back home in the US?
hi?
Yeah. Would you learn to fly or anything like that?
Probably not.
No? It might be a little less bumpy back in the US. It's pretty bumpy around here with
Have you first?
can you see the airport? Can you see the runway?
Yeah.
So what we do is we don't go and land straight ahead because the wind is sort of coming from behind us, so we don't want to land it downwind. So what we do is we fly past the airport at about, a wingtips distance, so that the runway runs along the wingtip basically. It's a good spacing. We fly past it, do 2 turns and come back into land. Yeah. That's called the downwind leg, and we're going to track ahead and join the downwind leg. And I'm happy for you to keep flying right up until just before landing, and then I'll take over and I'll do the actual landing. All good? You happy?
Okay.
Yep, awesome. And so if you drift just a little bit to the left, we're just a little bit skinny. Yeah, that's a bit better there, Cole. How you doing there? All good? Is it easier or harder than you thought it would be? Except for the bumps, which
yeah,
making it not hard,
Pretty easy.
And they're giving you a bit of workout, those bumps, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's alright. If you can fly in bumps, it'll be, when you go to fly in still air, it'll be so much easier for you. You'll be all over it.
Smaller plane, so you can more.
What's that?
It's a smaller plane, so you can feel the bump.
You definitely feel the bumps a little, a bit more than the big planes, because they're a bit more stable, whereas we're like a little feather. Yeah. Wanaka traffic, Echo Foxtrot car joins downwind, grass 29 full stop, number 1. So there's our runway there, so you can see how we're about, it's sort of just below the wingtip. That's a good indication that we've got good spacing. We sort of aim to have about that much distance. Once the end of the runway disappears below the wing, that's sort of when we start slowing the plane down. That's usually our indicator. Bridge mixture, fuel, hatches and harnesses are locked. And everyone's got their seatbelt on? Alright, so about there, we can slow down. So we take off a little bit of power. And what we can also do to help slow down is lower flaps. So on the big planes how the back of the wing drops down? We've got small versions of that. So we can help, that helps give us a little bit of extra lift for the airspeed which we're currently at. It also helps slow us down, so it's got 2 functions. And about here we can do a turn to the right, so you can turn us to the right and sort of point towards the little town there, just to the right of the little town. That's looking good. That's where I live, that's my town.
Oh yeah?
So I'm really close to work. And I'll put down another stage of flat for us. And what we'll do is we'll land on the grass runway. So we took off on the seal, we're going to land just to the right of it on the grass runway.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's quite common in New Zealand. I don't know whether it's that common in the States, is it?
I don't know.
You don't know? When I had some US pilots come and fly with me, they were always really shocked that we land on the grass because it's not really common over there. But it's you know,
Yeah,
fun.
usually I think over there it's like...
Sealed runway, yeah. It's actually quite good to land on grass because it saves the tyres. Like the sealed runway, it eats away at the tyres, whereas if you land on grass, it doesn't do quite as much. They don't wear through as fast. So where we're aiming is not the green patch, but just to the side of it. You see sort of orangey colour.
Okay.
Yeah, when you get a little bit closer, you'll be able to see the white tyres which outline it. And all we're doing at this part, so we're on finals now, the runway's ahead of us, we're checking we're on centreline, checking our airspeed and our height. So we're a touch fast actually, we should be about 70, so we'll just take off a little bit of power and I'm also going to raise the nose, which is what we need to do to slow us down. And I'll make a call to tell everyone that we're about to land. Wanaka traffic, Echo Foxtrot Papa, short finals, grass 29, full stop. And so yeah, we're just making small movements, small adjustments as necessary to keep us on our profile. And as we cross the threshold here, we just slowly take off the power and just keep the plane flying just above the runway, so about, you know, a few centimetres above the runway, and it'll just settle down when it's ready. And this runway has a lot of rocks in it, unfortunately. You see them on the side there?
Yeah. I thought you mean the ring crash.
That's going to be the new one. So yeah, this is the old one, and it's getting a bit huckery, as you can see. It's a bit rugged. So they're growing that one, but we're not allowed to use it yet, unfortunately. I'd get told off if I landed on that. Are they? Yeah, sheep. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Blackhawk sheep. And then we can taxi across here back to that taxiway. Wanaka traffic, Echo Foxtrot Papa, cross the seal 29 to Alpha. And you want to do the steering again? You're happy to steer it?
Yeah.
Cool.